Good evening and welcome to the Finding Mr. Darcy series, where every week I talk to you about love, relationships and anything to do with that in general. Today I want to be talking about relationships in terms of groups of people and the way that we support one another, and why it's so important for us to be functioning in groups, and why that's so helpful for us in society. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself, and I'd like you to introduce yourself to me. So if you just want to comment below where you're watching from, that would be really interesting. I'm coming to you from lovely Gloucester. So my name is Rachel Blackmore. I'm a relationship coach, and I work with professional women to help them to get rid of the frustrating dating apps and only attract high quality men into their lives. So at the moment, my son and I are listening to an audio version of the book Sapiens, and it's a bestseller on Amazon at the moment, and it's about, obviously, man and evolution and how we've come to be where we are today. And it's actually really interesting. It's a really interesting book. And the bit that we've just listened to is about how our language is developed and why. Because, you know, other creatures in the animal kingdom are able to communicate with one another, of course they are. But our language has become really sophisticated. And he believes, and other people who study in this field believe, that the reason we've developed such a sophisticated language is so that we are able to talk about one another. And he was talking about our social groups and, you know, how we manage to form these bonds. And it was really important for us years and years ago to be able to talk about other people, to be able to talk about whether or not they could be trustworthy, who was doing what with who, and so on, and to relay that communication. And when you think about it, that's still the way that we form bonds today. There's nothing like, unfortunately, having a gossip about somebody else or someone else's lives. You know, we're very interested in other people and what they're doing, particularly their relationships, and how successful they are in life, what kind of person they are. And you quite often find groups of women perhaps congregating in toilets on a night out and talking about the other people that they've seen outside, or their friends, or whatever. So that's why language apparently has evolved the way that it has. And it made me start thinking about the importance of those relationships, of those bonds, because actually we flourish as a result of others. As individuals and in society, we flourish as a result of our relationships with other people. Because other people are able to reflect back to us things about ourselves. They're able to relay important information. They give us encouragement, advice, praise. We like to share our ideas. We like to share things with one another. And it made me think about counselling and about coaching, and how important that is in terms of making people better, for want of a better word, for making people feel as though they are capable of something that perhaps they felt they weren't capable of before. And I was thinking about some of my former clients, and sometimes people's resilience and the strength that people find and the things that they are able to achieve or overcome is awe-inspiring, actually. I've worked with people who have lost all of their confidence as a result of facial disfigurement, and they've not necessarily overcome it, but they found the strength to be able to go out into the world, whereas before they wanted to hide their face. They've been able to start their life again, if you like, anew. I just find it really inspiring that people can be that people can find that strength within themselves. You know, when people who've been in abusive relationships that have found the strength and the courage to leave that abusive relationship and start anew. And that, you know, that takes a lot. And we really are resilient beings. We really are very capable, very strong people. And often that strength comes as a result of our relationships with others. You know, people really are brilliant. They really are brilliant. It's amazing what we can overcome. And so I was thinking then about what I offer to people, you know, as a counsellor and as a coach. And I often feel as though I'm not really doing anything. But actually, when I see the testimonials that people have written about me, when I hear the things that people say about working with me, I realise that it's in the relationship. It's the relationship that encourages people and fosters this kind of this strength that they didn't know they had, or these capabilities they didn't know they had. And so, you know, if anybody is thinking about working with me as a coach or a coach in general, you know, what I want to say is that quite often we think we can do things by ourselves. We think we don't need anybody else. But actually, we get stuck in certain ways of doing things. We get stuck in certain, you know, patterns of relating, or patterns of being, or patterns of behaving. And it's not until we work with somebody else, somebody that's professional, because it's all very well talking to friends, but friends are on your side, and they don't have the same expertise as somebody who's trained to be a coach. So, you know, what I can offer is not only support and encouragement, but advice, the expertise that I have in knowing about relationships and knowing about the patterns that can come up in relationships. I can spot those in the things that you tell me. And I can offer alternative perspectives. And not only that, is I can offer accountability as well. You know, if you decide, for example, that you want to go out and join a new club, but you've decided that ages ago, you decided that months and months ago, and you've never done anything about it. If you tell me that that's what you're going to do, then it's much more likely that you will go and do it, because you then feel that you're accountable to me, and you feel as though you have to explain maybe why you haven't done that. So it just gives you that little bit more impetus to go out and try new things. So, you know, I just really wanted to point out the fact that we do flourish as a result of working with other people, of being with other people, of our relationships with other people. So if you are interested in working with me as a coach, I've actually just, before this week, I offered 2 tiers, if you like, of for my coaching program. So there was the tier where you worked with me, and there was the tier where you worked without me. I've now introduced a middle tier, which is middle price, kind of a middle ground between the 2 programs that I was offering before. So if you're interested in finding out about that, if you've wanted to work with me before and then something has put you off, or you haven't got round to it, then maybe now's the time. And I talked about this a little bit last week. I talked about not putting things off and grabbing life by the horns. So maybe this is the time to do it. If you are interested in finding out more and you want to have a chat with me, it's a complimentary chat with me. It's about 45 minutes long. If you go to talktorachel.com, that's www.talktorachel, spelt with 2 A's, RACHAEL.com, you can see that I have some slots available on there. I'm going away on Sunday. I'm going to Thailand, which is very exciting. I had that on my vision board, and lo and behold, I'm going. And so it means that I won't be available to have any calls with anybody next week. But if you'd like to go on there and book a call, perhaps for some time after I return, I would love to talk to you. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. If you found this useful or interesting, please feel free to share and make any comments below. If you want to find out about anything or get clarity on anything, please just comment below. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye bye.